The vast galactic archives of the Sentinel Collective contained millions of planetary profiles, each reduced to a clinical summary of technological capability, resource potential, and evolutionary trajectory. Earth occupied a single data crystal among countless others, a minor entry marked with minimal significance. Admiral Anxular reviewed the holographic projection, fingers tracing the minimal data points surrounding the small blue planet. Humanity appeared as nothing more than a statistical anomaly. Their technological development followed an erratic pattern that defied standard galactic progression models. Where most emerging civilizations showed predictable growth curves, human advancements seemed to leap and spiral in impossible directions. The initial survey reports were frustratingly inconsistent. One transmission would suggest primitive rocket technology, while the next hinted at computational capabilities that shouldn't exist at their developmental stage. Quantum communication fragments, advanced materials research, biomechanical integration techniques that challenged established scientific understanding. The Sentinel Collective prided itself on comprehensive intelligence gathering. Their observation networks spanned thousands of light years, capturing the minutest details of emerging civilizations. Yet humanity remained an enigma, a world that refused to be categorized or understood through conventional means. Deep within the central analysis chambers, specialized researchers worked tirelessly to decode the human puzzle. Each new data point only introduced more complexity. Their historical records showed a species that transformed challenges into opportunities with remarkable speed. Wars, environmental challenges, technological limitations. Humans seemed to convert each obstacle into a catalyst for unprecedented innovation. The most recent communication intercepts revealed something even more intriguing. While other developing civilizations focused on singular technological paths, humans pursued multiple advanced research streams simultaneously. Their scientific communities didn't just explore, they challenged fundamental assumptions about technology, biology, and systemic understanding. Agriculture merged with genetic research. Medical technologies integrated with computational systems. Energy production became a playground for radical reimagining of fundamental physical principles. It was as if the entire species operated on a different intellectual wavelength. Anxular's personal research team had compiled a comprehensive report that raised more questions than answers. Human communication networks showed a decentralized intelligence that defied traditional hierarchical models. Their information exchange happened through multiple channels: digital networks, academic publications, open-source platforms, collaborative research initiatives. No single control mechanism governed their knowledge expansion. The most perplexing aspect was their approach to technological development. Where most advanced civilizations developed specialized, centralized research programs, humans embraced a chaotic, distributed model of innovation. Individual researchers, private corporations, academic institutions, and independent inventors all contributed to a constantly evolving technological landscape. Preliminary long-range scans of their solar system revealed unexpected complexities. What appeared to be simple orbital platforms showed signs of advanced adaptive technologies. Communication networks suggested sophisticated encryption methods that current Sentinel decryption algorithms struggle to penetrate. The junior researchers in the analysis division whispered about the human variable, a term that had become both a source of academic fascination and professional frustration. Traditional predictive models failed spectacularly when applied to human developmental trajectories. Most concerning was their rapid technological integration. While other species took centuries to develop comprehensive planetary defense systems, humans seemed capable of transforming conceptual research into functional technology in mere decades. Their ability to rapidly prototype, test, and implement complex technological solutions challenged everything the Sentinel Collective understood about technological progression. The final summary in Anxular's report was maddeningly vague. Humanity represents an unpredictable evolutionary anomaly. Conventional assessment metrics are insufficient. Continued observation and comprehensive research recommended. As the holographic display flickered, Casting blue-green shadows across the analysis chamber, one thing became clear. The Sentinel Collective was looking at a species that didn't just challenge expectations. They rewrote the entire understanding of technological and evolutionary potential. Something was brewing on that small blue planet, and no one, not even the most advanced intelligence network in the known galaxy, could predict what would happen next. The first wave of Sentinel scout ships emerged from subspace with calculated precision. Their advanced stealth systems should have rendered them invisible to any primitive detection methods. Quantum phase camouflage generators hummed with technological sophistication that had subdued hundreds of emerging civilizations before. Commander Vex-9 reviewed the standard invasion protocol with practiced efficiency. Initial reconnaissance missions were designed to be invisible, a gentle probing of planetary defenses, gathering intelligence without triggering significant response. The solar system's outer reaches should have been a silent approach, a mere preliminary to a larger strategic assessment. The first anomaly appeared almost immediately. Microsensor networks flickered to life across Jupiter's orbital space, their response patterns defying every known technological expectation. These weren't simple tracking systems. Each defensive platform moved with a fluidity that suggested something far more complex than automated defense protocols. Computational cores in the lead scout ship began processing the unexpected data streams. The defensive network seemed to anticipate movement patterns before they were executed. Targeting solutions adjusted in microseconds, creating intricate defensive webs that shifted and adapted with impossible speed. Communications Officer Zora 4 reported the first unexpected readings. Defensive platforms demonstrate nonlinear response algorithms. Predictive capabilities exceed known technological frameworks by approximately 287%. Her voice carried a note of professional concern that bordered on professional fascination. The scout fleet's initial approach found itself caught in an intricate dance of technological anticipation. Stealth systems that had penetrated countless planetary defenses became ineffective. Each movement was tracked, predicted, and countered with mathematical precision that suggested something beyond traditional defensive technologies. Subspace communication channels began recording the unfolding scenario. What should have been a simple reconnaissance mission was transforming into something entirely unexpected. The human defensive network didn't just respond, it anticipated, calculated, and redirected with a fluidity that challenged fundamental understanding of technological capabilities. Computational analysis revealed layers of complexity that defied standard classification. The defensive platforms weren't simply automated systems. They demonstrated characteristics of adaptive learning networks, with each defensive response building upon previous interactions. It was as if the entire defensive grid was a living, breathing computational organism. Commander Vex-9 watched the incoming data streams with growing professional concern. Invasion protocols were carefully designed to overwhelm emerging civilizations quickly and efficiently. This scenario presented something entirely different. The humans had created a defensive system that didn't just protect. It learned, adapted, and evolved in real time. Quantum encryption methods intercepted from communication fragments suggested an even more disturbing possibility. The defensive network wasn't a singular system, but a distributed intelligence that spanned multiple platforms. Each defensive node contributed to a collective understanding, sharing computational resources and strategic insights faster than the Sentinel ships could process. The Scout fleet's primary mission parameters began to shift. What was meant to be a silent probe was rapidly becoming a complex technological engagement. Stealth systems became increasingly ineffective. Defensive platforms seemed to predict movement patterns with an accuracy that suggested something beyond traditional sensor technologies. Most concerning was the speed of adaptation. Traditional invasion protocols relied on overwhelming technological superiority. The human defensive network demonstrated an ability to learn and adjust faster than the Sentinel computational systems could recalibrate. Each defensive response was a lesson, each interaction a chance to understand and counter the invasion approach. Junior analysis teams began compiling initial reports. The language used spoke of professional respect tinged with growing concern. Phrases like unprecedented adaptive capabilities and non-linear defensive intelligence filled the communication streams. This was no ordinary emerging civilization. As the first scout ships began to retreat, a sobering realization settled across the Sentinel fleet. The humans had created something far more sophisticated than a simple planetary defense system. This was a living, breathing technological ecosystem that challenged fundamental understanding of defensive capabilities. Commander Vex-9 transmitted the initial assessment to Central Command. The message was brief, but loaded with professional implications. First contact scenario requires complete strategic reevaluation. Human defensive capabilities exceed all preliminary intelligence assessments. The solar system had just demonstrated that it was anything but a simple target. Something extraordinary was brewing on that small blue planet, and the Sentinel Collective was about to discover just how extraordinary. The interstellar communication networks of the Sentinel Collective buzzed with unprecedented activity. What began as a routine reconnaissance mission had transformed into a complex technological puzzle that challenged every established understanding of emerging civilizations. Deep within the central research complexes, analysis teams worked around the standard time cycles, dissecting every fragment of data from the human defensive encounter. The computational systems that had mapped thousands of developing civilizations now struggled to process the extraordinary information streaming in from the solar system. Dr. Krull 7, Chief of Xenotechnological Research, assembled a specialized team to examine the captured data streams. Their primary objective was to understand the unprecedented adaptive capabilities demonstrated by human defensive technologies. Each data point revealed layers of complexity that defied traditional technological progression models. The most striking characteristic was the human's approach to technological integration. Where most advanced civilizations developed specialized, rigid technological systems, humans had created something entirely different. Their defensive platforms weren't just machines, they were living, evolving computational ecosystems. Preliminary analysis suggested a radical approach to artificial intelligence. Traditional machine learning models followed predictable evolutionary patterns. The human systems demonstrated something far more dynamic. Each defensive interaction became an opportunity for comprehensive system recalibration. Weapon systems, communication protocols, energy management. Everything adapted in real time. Communication intercepts revealed an even more fascinating aspect of their technological development. Unlike hierarchical research models used by most advanced civilizations, humans embraced a distributed innovation approach. Individual researchers, private corporations, academic institutions, and independent inventors contributed to a constantly evolving technological landscape. The research team discovered something particularly intriguing about their computational architectures. Traditional AI development focused on specific task optimization. Human systems demonstrated what could only be described as computational creativity. Their machine learning algorithms didn't just process information, they generated entirely new problem-solving approaches. Sensor logs from the initial scout mission showed defensive platforms that seemed to anticipate movement patterns before they were executed. Targeting solutions adjusted with impossible speed, creating intricate defensive webs that shifted and adapted faster than the most advanced Sentinel computational systems could track. Dr. Krull 7 highlighted a critical observation in the preliminary report. The human technological ecosystem operates more like a living organism than a mechanical system. Each defensive interaction is not just a response, but a comprehensive learning experience that transforms the entire network's capabilities. The implications were profound. Traditional invasion protocols relied on overwhelming technological superiority and predictable defensive responses. The human systems demonstrated an ability to learn, adapt, and evolve faster than the invasion strategy could be implemented. Communication encryption methods added another layer of complexity. Intercepted data fragments suggested a distributed intelligence network that shared computational resources across multiple platforms. Each defensive node contributed to a collective understanding, processing strategic insights at speeds that challenged fundamental understanding of computational capabilities. Junior researchers whispered about the human variable, a term that had become both a source of academic fascination and professional concern. Their technological development didn't follow linear progression models. Instead, it resembled a complex, adaptive system that transformed challenges into opportunities with remarkable speed. The most disturbing aspect for the Sentinel Collective was the rate of technological integration. While most advanced civilizations took centuries to develop comprehensive defensive networks, humans seemed capable of transforming conceptual research into functional technology in mere decades. Computational simulations failed repeatedly when attempting to predict human technological responses. Traditional predictive models collapsed when confronted with the extraordinary adaptability demonstrated by their defensive systems. As the research team compiled their initial assessment, a profound realization settled across the analysis chambers. The humans had created something far beyond a simple defensive network. This was a living, breathing technological ecosystem that challenged fundamental understanding of artificial intelligence and defensive capabilities. The final summary in Dr. Krell-Seven's report was both a professional assessment and a note of professional respect. Humanity represents a technological anomaly that demands comprehensive revaluation of established developmental models. Their approach to technological integration defies all known computational progression frameworks. Something extraordinary was emerging from that small blue planet, and the Sentinel Collective was about to discover just how extraordinary human potential could be. The Battle of Mars transformed from a potential invasion into a strategic nightmare that would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations to come. What the Sentinel Collective initially perceived as a vulnerable planetary system revealed itself as the most sophisticated defensive environment ever encountered. Admiral Angsular watched the unfolding scenario with a growing sense of professional disbelief. The holographic displays in the command center flickered with real-time data streams that challenged every established understanding of spatial warfare. Massive infrastructure emerged from the Martian surface with a precision that defied conventional tactical expectations. Hidden beneath the rust-colored landscape, a network of defensive platforms materialized like a technological ecosystem coming to life. Railgun installations rose from carefully concealed positions, their design a perfect fusion of engineering brilliance and mathematical precision. These weren't just weapons, they were instruments of calculated destruction that redefined the very concept of planetary defense. The first wave of Sentinel battle groups found themselves caught in an intricate web of technological anticipation. Each firing solution was met with a counter-response that seemed to predict movement patterns before they could be executed. The railgun batteries demonstrated a level of accuracy that bordered on the impossible, targeting individual ships with a precision that suggested something far beyond traditional tracking systems. Computational analysis teams aboard the Sentinel flagships worked frantically to understand the defensive network. Traditional jamming techniques proved useless. Electronic warfare systems that had subdued countless civilizations became ineffective against the humans' adaptive communication protocols. Each defensive response was a lesson, each interaction an opportunity for comprehensive system recalibration. The Martian defensive grid revealed layers of complexity that went far beyond simple weapon platforms. Energy management systems shifted and adapted in real time, creating defensive bubbles that could absorb and redistribute incoming weapon energy. Targeting systems seemed to move with a fluidity that suggested something more than automated response. It was as if the entire defensive network was a living, breathing computational organism. Commander Vex-9 transmitted increasingly urgent reports to Central Command. The language of the communication spoke volumes about the unexpected challenge. Defensive capabilities exceed all preliminary intelligence assessments. Each message began, followed by increasingly complex technical analyses that failed to fully explain the human's technological sophistication. What made the human approach truly remarkable was the integration of multiple technological systems. orbital platforms, surface-based installations, communication networks. Everything worked in perfect, seamless coordination. Each defensive node contributed to a collective understanding, sharing computational resources and strategic insights faster than the Sentinel ships could process. The railgun platforms represented the pinnacle of this technological integration. Capable of launching projectiles at near-relativistic speeds, they transformed the entire Martian surface into a complex, adaptive weapon system. The mathematical precision of their targeting solutions suggested something beyond traditional computational capabilities. Each shot was a calculated piece of a larger strategic puzzle. Most concerning was the speed of adaptation. Traditional invasion protocols relied on overwhelming technological superiority. The human defensive network demonstrated an ability to learn and adjust faster than the Sentinel computational systems could recalibrate. What should have been a simple planetary approach became a complex dance of technological anticipation. Senior strategy analysts began compiling initial assessments. The language used spoke of professional respect, tinged with growing concern. Phrases like unprecedented adaptive capabilities and non-linear defensive intelligence filled the communication streams. This was no ordinary planetary defense system. The battle became a demonstration of strategic brilliance that challenged fundamental understanding of spatial warfare. The humans had transformed an entire planetary environment into a living, breathing defensive ecosystem. Asteroids became potential weapons. Communication networks became adaptive sensor arrays. Every aspect of the solar system was integrated into a comprehensive defensive strategy. As Sentinel battle groups found themselves systematically neutralized, a profound realization settled across the fleet. The humans had created something far beyond a simple defensive network. This was a comprehensive approach to planetary defense that treated an entire solar system as a single, interconnected weapons system. Admiral Angstlar's final transmission to Central Command was brief, but loaded with professional implications. Mars' defensive capabilities represent a fundamental reimagining of spatial warfare. Invasion protocols require complete strategic revaluation. The solar system had just demonstrated that it was anything but a simple target. Something extraordinary was brewing on that small blue planet, and the Sentinel Collective was about to discover the full extent of human strategic potential. The true nature of human strategic capabilities revealed itself in layers of complexity that transcended traditional technological understanding. What the Sentinel Collective had perceived as a simple defensive system was, in fact, a comprehensive approach to conflict that challenged every established model of interstellar engagement. Deep within secure analysis chambers, research teams worked tirelessly to unravel the mysterious computational ecosystem that had neutralized their most advanced invasion strategies. Each data stream revealed something more profound than mere technological superiority. It was an entirely different approach to understanding conflict, communication, and strategic interaction. Dr. Krull 7 assembled a specialized team to decode the intercepted communication networks. What they discovered went far beyond advanced encryption or computational processing. The human communication systems demonstrated a level of psychological and strategic complexity that defied conventional intelligence analysis. Their artificial intelligence systems didn't just predict tactical movements. They simulated entire conflict scenarios with a depth that suggested something closer to cognitive reasoning than traditional predictive algorithms. Each potential strategic approach was analyzed across millions of potential outcomes, considering variables that extended far beyond immediate tactical considerations. Communication networks began to fragment in ways that suggested a deliberate, strategic dismantling of Sentinel technological infrastructure. It wasn't just about blocking signals or jamming communications. The human systems seemed to understand the psychological impact of communication disruption at a fundamental level. The most striking discovery was the distributed nature of their strategic thinking. Unlike hierarchical military structures that relied on centralized command, human strategic systems appeared to operate more like a collective intelligence. Each computational node contributed to a broader understanding. sharing insights and adaptations at speeds that challenged fundamental concepts of information processing. Psychological warfare reached an entirely new level of sophistication. The Sentinel communication networks found themselves targeted not just technologically, but through a complex understanding of information flow, psychological pressure points, and systemic vulnerabilities. It was as if the human systems could simultaneously analyze and exploit the psychological weaknesses of an entire technological infrastructure. Navigation systems became increasingly unreliable as the human defensive network demonstrated an ability to introduce subtle manipulations that went beyond traditional electronic warfare. Position tracking, communication protocols, energy management systems, each became a potential vector for strategic disruption. Research analysts noted something particularly extraordinary about the human approach. Their strategic systems didn't just respond to immediate threats. They seemed to be conducting a comprehensive analysis that considered long-term implications, potential future scenarios, and the broader context of interstellar engagement. The distributed nature of their computational systems meant that no single point of failure could compromise the entire defensive network. Each component operated with a level of autonomous intelligence that suggested a fundamentally different approach to technological integration. What appeared to be individual defensive platforms were, in fact, part of a living, adaptive ecosystem. Intercepted communication fragments revealed an approach to conflict that was more about comprehensive understanding than simple technological superiority. Their strategic systems seemed to analyze not just immediate tactical considerations, but the broader psychological, technological, and strategic implications of each potential action. Most concerning for the Sentinel Collective was the human's ability to transform technological challenges into opportunities for comprehensive learning. Each interaction became a chance to understand, adapt, and develop more sophisticated response mechanisms. Their defensive network wasn't just protecting. It was constantly evolving, learning, and expanding its understanding. The psychological component of their strategic approach became increasingly apparent. The human systems demonstrated an ability to understand and exploit systemic vulnerabilities in ways that went far beyond traditional computational analysis. They didn't just predict potential outcomes. They seemed to understand the underlying psychological and strategic motivations behind each potential action. Senior strategy analysts began to recognize something profound. The humans had developed an approach to conflict that treated technological, psychological, and strategic considerations as an interconnected system. Traditional models of invasion and defense became obsolete when confronted with this comprehensive understanding. Dr. Krell Seven's preliminary report to Central Command captured the essence of their discovery. Human strategic capabilities represent a fundamental reimagining of conflict engagement. Their approach transcends technological superiority, demonstrating a comprehensive understanding of strategic interaction that challenges all established analytical frameworks. As the Sentinel Collective grappled with this unprecedented challenge, one thing became increasingly clear. The humans had created something far more sophisticated than a defensive system. They had developed an entire approach to strategic engagement that treated conflict as a complex, adaptive ecosystem of understanding. The solar system had become more than a potential target. It was a living, breathing demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to technological and strategic potential. The final assault of the Sentinel Collective was designed to be a definitive demonstration of technological superiority. 2,000 of their most advanced warships converged on the solar system, a massive armada that had subdued countless civilizations across multiple galactic sectors. What they didn't realize was that they were sailing into the most sophisticated strategic trap ever conceived. Admiral Anxular watched the fleet's approach with a mixture of calculated confidence and growing professional unease. The preliminary reconnaissance missions had revealed challenges, but Central Command insisted on a full-scale engagement. The humans would be overwhelmed, they argued. Technological superiority was absolute. What unfolded was anything but a traditional invasion. The solar system itself seemed to come alive as a living, breathing defensive organism. Every celestial body became a potential weapon. Asteroids transformed into precision-guided projectile platforms. Orbital networks shifted and adapted with impossible speed, creating defensive configurations that defied established understanding of spatial warfare. Solar radiation collectors became adaptive energy weapons. Quantum communication networks turned the entire planetary system into an interconnected computational ecosystem. Each defensive node worked in perfect, seamless coordination, sharing computational resources and strategic insights faster than the invasion fleet could process. The first wave of Sentinel ships found themselves caught in an intricate web of technological anticipation. Targeting solutions adjusted in microseconds, creating complex defensive patterns that seemed to predict movement before it could be executed. What should have been a straightforward invasion became a complex dance of technological adaptation. Computational cores aboard the Sentinel flagships worked frantically to understand the defensive network. Traditional invasion protocols collapsed under the weight of human strategic complexity. The solar system wasn't just defending itself, it was actively dismantling the invasion strategy with surgical precision. Asteroid defense platforms emerged from carefully concealed positions, their targeting systems demonstrating a level of accuracy that bordered on the impossible. Each projectile was a calculated piece of a larger strategic puzzle. Weapon systems integrated with communication networks, creating a comprehensive defensive ecosystem that treated the entire solar system as a single adaptive combat platform. The humans had transformed an entire stellar environment into a weapon. Gravitational interactions became defensive mechanisms. Communication networks became adaptive sensor arrays. Energy management systems could redistribute and absorb incoming weapon strikes with impossible efficiency. Most concerning was the speed of adaptation. Each Sentinel ship's approach became an opportunity for the human defensive network to learn, analyze, and develop more sophisticated response mechanisms. Tactical solutions that worked in one moment became obsolete in the next, as the defensive system continuously evolved its understanding. Commander Vex 9 transmitted increasingly desperate reports to Central Command. Communication networks began to fragment in ways that suggested a deliberate, strategic dismantling of Sentinel technological infrastructure. It wasn't just about blocking signals or jamming communications. The human systems seemed to understand the psychological impact of communication disruption at a fundamental level. The battle transformed from a potential invasion into a comprehensive demonstration of strategic brilliance, where traditional military doctrines focused on singular defensive or offensive capabilities. The humans had created something entirely different. Their approach treated conflict as a complex, adaptive ecosystem of understanding. Quantum communication networks allowed for instantaneous tactical coordination that seemed to defy the known laws of spatial warfare. Each defensive node contributed to a collective understanding, processing strategic insights at speeds that challenged fundamental computational capabilities. Senior strategy analysts watched in growing professional disbelief. The invasion fleet found itself systematically neutralized, not through overwhelming force, but through a comprehensive understanding of technological and strategic interaction. The solar system had become a living, breathing weapon system that adapted faster than the invasion could respond. The final transmissions from the Sentinel fleet became increasingly fragmented. Communication systems collapsed. Navigation protocols became unreliable. Each ship found itself isolated, cut off from Central Command, facing a defensive network that seemed to understand their technological infrastructure more completely than they understood themselves. Admiral Anxlar's final transmission to Central Command was a testament to the unprecedented challenge they faced. Invasion parameters completely compromised. Solar system defensive capabilities represent a fundamental reimagining of spatial conflict engagement. As the last Sentinel ships were systematically neutralized, a profound realization settled across their collective consciousness. The humans had created something far beyond a simple defensive network. They had transformed an entire stellar environment into a comprehensive, adaptive weapon system that challenged every established understanding of technological potential. The solar system was not a target. It was a demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to strategic interaction. The aftermath of the conflict defied every established protocol of interstellar engagement. As the final Sentinel ships were neutralized or captured, a profound silence settled across the solar system. What remained was not a scene of destruction, but a carefully managed demonstration of technological and strategic capability. Commander Vex-9 found himself aboard a human research vessel, surrounded by a team of researchers whose collective demeanor suggested something far more complex than simple military victory. The intelligence team that processed the captured Sentinel personnel approached the situation with a clinical, almost academic interest that spoke volumes about their fundamental approach to conflict. Interdimensional containment chambers housed the surviving Sentinel command personnel. These were not prison cells, but sophisticated research environments designed to facilitate comprehensive understanding. Each chamber was a marvel of technological integration, providing complete containment while simultaneously offering unprecedented opportunities for communication and analysis. The human approach to the captured Sentinel personnel revealed a strategy that went far beyond traditional military engagement. Where most civilizations would respond with aggression or retribution, the humans demonstrated an approach rooted in comprehensive understanding. Each interaction was an opportunity for mutual learning, each communication a chance to explore the deeper implications of the conflict. Research teams worked tirelessly to decode the complex technological and cultural information contained within the Sentinel systems, but their approach was markedly different from traditional intelligence gathering. They weren't simply extracting information. They were seeking to understand the broader context of the conflict, the motivational frameworks that had led to the invasion attempt. Dr. Krull 7, the senior Sentinel research director, found himself in a series of comprehensive debriefing sessions that challenged every established understanding of interstellar diplomacy. The human researchers approached the conversations with a level of intellectual curiosity that seemed almost contradictory to the recent conflict. They weren't interested in punishment or retribution. They were seeking understanding. Computational analysis teams worked to integrate the captured Sentinel technologies, not as potential weapons, but as opportunities for comprehensive technological exchange. Each system was carefully studied, its underlying principles examined with a level of scientific rigor that suggested the conflict was merely a preliminary exploration of technological potential. The most striking aspect of the resolution was the humans' approach to the surviving Sentinel personnel. Where most civilizations would have implemented strict containment protocols, the humans offered a form of collaborative engagement, research opportunities, technological exchange, a chance to understand the deeper implications of the conflict. Quantum communication networks began to process the vast amount of information gathered during the conflict. But these weren't simple intelligence reports. They were comprehensive analyses that considered technological, psychological, and strategic implications that extended far beyond the immediate conflict. Senior strategy analysts from both civilizations found themselves engaged in unprecedented levels of communication. The humans didn't view the conflict as a victory to be celebrated, but as a complex interaction that offered profound insights into interstellar potential. Each conversation became an opportunity to explore broader understanding. The captured Sentinel technologies underwent comprehensive analysis, but the approach was markedly different from traditional intelligence gathering. The human research teams weren't simply seeking to understand the technological capabilities. They were exploring the underlying principles, the philosophical and technological frameworks that had shaped the Sentinel civilization. Commander Vex-9 discovered something profound during the debriefing sessions. The humans weren't interested in subjugation or revenge. They were seeking a comprehensive understanding of interstellar potential. Each interaction was an opportunity for mutual learning, each communication a chance to explore deeper levels of technological and cultural exchange. Interdimensional research facilities became sites of unprecedented scientific collaboration. Technological systems that had been developed for conflict were now being reimagined as potential tools for mutual understanding. The boundaries between enemy and potential collaborator began to blur in ways that challenged fundamental understanding of interstellar engagement. The final reports to Central Command on both sides defied traditional diplomatic frameworks. These weren't simple intelligence summaries. They were comprehensive analyses that suggested the conflict had been more than a military engagement. It was a profound exploration of technological and strategic potential. Dr. Krell 7's final transmission captured the essence of this unprecedented resolution. Conflict resolution demonstrates a fundamentally different approach to interstellar interaction. The humans have transformed a potential confrontation into an opportunity for comprehensive mutual understanding. As the initial stages of resolution unfolded, one thing became increasingly clear. The conflict had been more than a military engagement. It was a comprehensive demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to interstellar potential. The solar system had become more than a defensive environment. It was a living, breathing demonstration of a new approach to technological and strategic interaction. The consequences of the solar system conflict rippled across the galactic community in ways no one could have anticipated. News of the humans' extraordinary defensive capabilities and their even more remarkable approach to conflict resolution spread faster than light through quantum communication networks. Established galactic civilizations found themselves re-evaluating fundamental assumptions about emerging technological societies. The comprehensive demonstration of human potential challenged every existing model of interstellar development, technological progression, and strategic engagement. Research institutions across multiple star systems began comprehensive studies of the conflict. What had initially been perceived as a simple defensive engagement revealed itself as a profound exploration of technological and strategic potential. Academic conferences dedicated entire research tracks to understanding the human approach to conflict, technology, and interstellar interaction. The Sentinel Collective's intelligence networks underwent a complete structural redesign. Their entire approach to assessing emerging civilizations had been fundamentally challenged. The humans had demonstrated a level of technological and strategic sophistication that rendered previous assessment models completely obsolete. Diplomatic channels began to reconfigure in unprecedented ways. Species that had long maintained isolationist policies found themselves curious about the humans' approach to interstellar engagement. Their ability to transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for comprehensive understanding suggested something far more profound than simple military capability. Technological exchange programs began to emerge across multiple star systems. The captured Sentinel technologies, when examined through human research methodologies, revealed potential applications that went far beyond their original military designs. Each system became an opportunity for comprehensive scientific exploration. The quantum communication networks that had been instrumental in the solar system defense became a topic of extensive scientific study. Researchers discovered that the human approach to technological integration went far beyond traditional computational models. It was an adaptive, living system that challenged fundamental understanding of information processing. Senior research analysts noted something particularly extraordinary about the human approach. They didn't simply develop technologies. They created comprehensive ecological systems of technological interaction. Each advancement was considered in its broader context, with potential implications that extended far beyond immediate practical applications. Diplomatic missions began to approach the solar system with a mixture of professional respect and academic curiosity. The humans had demonstrated an approach to conflict that was more about comprehensive understanding than territorial defense. Their strategic systems suggested a civilization that viewed technological potential as a collaborative opportunity rather than a competitive challenge. The surviving Sentinel personnel who had been integrated into research programs became unexpected ambassadors of a new approach to interstellar understanding. Their experiences challenged existing philosophical and technological frameworks, suggesting a more comprehensive approach to civilization development. Computational models of technological progression underwent complete restructuring. The human demonstration suggested that technological development was less about linear advancement and more about adaptive, interconnected systems of understanding. Traditional predictive models collapsed under the weight of this new perspective. Research institutions across multiple star systems began developing new interdisciplinary approaches inspired by the human conflict resolution model. Their ability to transform a potential confrontation into an opportunity for mutual understanding suggested a fundamentally different approach to interstellar interaction. The most profound impact was on established galactic power structures. Civilizations that had long relied on technological intimidation found themselves reassessing their fundamental approach to interstellar engagement. The humans had demonstrated that true strength lay not in destructive capability, but in comprehensive understanding. Quantum communication networks began to fill with academic and diplomatic discussions that went far beyond traditional intelligence reports. These were comprehensive analyses that explored the deeper implications of the solar system conflict. Each transmission suggested a growing recognition of a fundamentally different approach to technological and strategic potential. Dr. Krell Seven's comprehensive research report became a foundational text in understanding emerging civilizations. The final summary captured the essence of this profound shift. Humanity represents a comprehensive approach to technological and strategic potential that challenges all established understanding of civilization development. As the initial stages of this new interstellar understanding unfolded, one thing became increasingly clear. The conflict had been more than a military engagement. It was a comprehensive demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to technological, strategic, and philosophical potential. The solar system had become more than a defensive environment. It was a living, breathing demonstration of a new approach to understanding the complex interactions between technological civilizations. The galaxy would never be the same again.